I'll never look at a shiny Eevee in the same way again. Ever. It started only a few days ago. I was on the internet looking for action replay codes. I really wanted one for either a shiny Vulpix or a shiny Eevee. Then I found one that was that shiny Eevee I wanted for so much. The code was so long, but I was willing to take the time to put it in. It took about 15 minutes to put the code in, but I was so excited to get the code in action. I started my Soul Silver game up with the code on. I clicked on continue and my previous save data came up. I saved right in front of the Pokemon Center and I rushed into the place with my Typhlosion following behind me. I went to the PC and pressed A. Klaus booted up the PC. I clicked A on Bill's PC. Pokemon storage system activated. I pressed the L and R buttons to move down to box 5, where a shiny Eevee was supposed to come up. I moved my cursor over to the Eevee. It was named EE and it was level 1. Its moves were Tackle, Growl, Sand Attack, and Swift. I took out my level 1 Giratina from my party and put it into my first box of the PC. Afterwards, I put Eevee in my party. I wanted to trade it onto my Heartgold version since it was the one I always play. I got my other DS and popped Heartgold into it. I turned it on and clicked continue. Once both of my players were in the Union Room, I started a trade. I traded a Cubone onto my Soul Silver in return for the EE. Once the Pokemon were traded onto the separate versions, I make both players leave the Union Room and save. One at a time. Once turning off the system, Soul Silver was in. I went to playing Heartgold. I wanted to clone EE so I could get the rest of the evolutions. I wonder if I have a Thunderstone, I wondered to myself as I opened my character's bag. The only evolution stone I had was a Water Stone. Vaporeon will do now, I guess. I clicked A on the Water Stone and clicked on EE. I watched as the Eevee evolved into a pink Vaporeon. Once the evolution process was done, I saved the game and turned it off, as it was time for me to go to bed. Several days passed and I got into all the shiny evolutions except for Flareon, but that didn't matter to me. I'd get it later. I wanted to get EE back onto my Soul Silver. I got my DS, popped in my action replay DSi along with my Soul Silver. Once the code list was loaded, I clicked on the shiny Eevee code and started up the game. I clicked continue as soon as the options came up. I was saved in the Pokemon Center this time. I ran up over to the PC. Klaus booted up the PC. I clicked A on Bill's PC. Pokemon storage system activated. I was already in box 5. I moved to box 6 and held down the R and L buttons. I moved back to box 5. Instead of an Eevee icon in the box, there's an egg icon. I moved my cursor onto it. It was a bad egg. I moved the egg to the other side of the box and tried it again. Another bad egg. I moved this egg to the bottom and tried for the 3rd time. This time EE appeared in the box. I moved EE back into my party. I wanted to train him. I disregarded the fact that I had 2 bad eggs in my PC box and logged off the PC. I ran out of the Pokemon Center to train EE. I had the Max EXP code on, so this would be easy. After flying to Goldenrod City on my hoe, I ran out of the city knowing that I had sneaked past some of the trainers. Once a trainer had spotted me, I sent out EE. The opposing trainer sent out a level 10 Diglett. I returned EE and sent out my trusty Typhlosion. After the foe's Diglett attacked, I selected Typhlosion's command. This wouldn't be hard at all for him, since he was level 100. I selected Slash. Typhlosion used Slash. Foe Diglett fainted. I held down the R button so Eevee would gain max experience points. EE grew to level 2. EE grew to level 3. This went on until EE grew to level 37. Trainer is about to send out Zubat. Will Klaus change Pokemon? I selected yes and sent out EE. Go! EE. Trainer sent out Zubat. I selected Fight Command and then I chose Swift. EE used Swift. Foe Zubat died. Their Zubat died, I questioned. I shook my head and ignored it, although my confusion had forgotten to hold down the R button again to get the max EP for my Eevee. Trainer is about to send out Diglett. Will Klaus switch Pokemon? I selected no this time. Trainer sent out Diglett. What will EE do? I selected the fight option and then chose Swift again. EE used Swift. Foe Diglett died. Again, the Pokemon had died. Even though this still confused me, I remembered to hold down the R button. EE grew to level 38, EE grew to level 39, EE grew to level 40. This continued until EE reached level 52. The opposing trainer didn't do anything after I beat him. Before the screen went back to the overworld, I got an evolution screen and EE was on there. What? EE is evolving? The animation started showing it was trying to evolve into an Espeon. I clicked the B button since I already had a shiny Espeon. What? EE stopped evolving. I noticed that EE seemed to be angry. I ignored it and go on to training it. After about 5 minutes or so, EE was trying to evolve into Espeon again. I clicked the B button and EE seemed to be even angrier at me. I was once again in the overworld, but before I could do anything, my trainer faced EE and an angry icon appeared over the shiny EE's head. EE wants to evolve into Espeon. A yes or no options came up. Being that I didn't want it to evolve into Espeon, I clicked no. The angry icon appeared over EE's head again, and the small sprite was jumped up and down as if it was throwing a tantrum. EE wants to evolve. Another yes or no option came up. I clicked no again. EE didn't do anything this time. I opened my party and noticed all the Pokemon were now bad eggs except for EE. I clicked on EE, then on the summary. EE's sprite had an evil-looking smirk on its face and red eyes. I was starting to get tired of it. I went to a Pokemon Center and went to the PC. Klaus booted up the PC. I clicked A on Bill's PC. Pokemon storage system activated. I selected EE and then clicked on released. EE won't leave without a fight. Suddenly I'm dragged into a random encounter. EE wants to fight. Go Typhlosion. There are two things I noticed here. The first thing was that I suddenly had my Typhlosion's back. The second thing was that both EE's and Typhlosion's sprite were bloody. EE still had that grin on its face, and there was now blood on its eyes and ears. Typhlosion's sprite looked very much like it was in pain. Blood was dripping from its mouth and nose, flesh was exposed on its forehead, and the flame on its neck looked weak. What will Typhlosion use? I clicked the fight command and it chose flamethrower. Typhlosion is scared. What? I whispered to myself. I didn't know Pokemon would get scared to attack. EE used Bite. The attack dealt much damage to my Typhlosion, but it wasn't down yet. There's more blood on it than there was before. What will Typhlosion use? Fight. Flamethrower. Typhlosion is scared. I said again. Again? I whispered. EE used Kill. Typhlosion has died. No! I yelled. I'm glad my dad wasn't home when I yelled that. Klaus is out of unusable Pokemon. Klaus fell victim to EE. I was once again confused. What did it mean by fell victim? I was back in the overworld, but it seemed what to be like Elix Forest. Instead of the Pokemon Center, the forest was dark red instead of its normal green color. Bones and rotten flesh were strewn across the area. The little pond was blood red too. At this point, I was starting to feel sick to my stomach. Then I noticed something. EE was right in front of my trainer. EE's sprite jumped up and down. EE wants you to suffer. I was getting scared to go on with this. I moved my thumb towards the power button. Don't even try it. You're not getting away from me. A voice came through the speakers of my DS. I assumed that voice belonged to EE. The screen turned black, and the only sound I could hear was that sounded like slashing. When the overworld came back on, I saw my trainer laying on the ground in a pool of blood. He had an arm and a leg missing. His eyes were pitch black. I presumed that his eyes were ripped out. EE's sprite jumped up and down again, then a happy icon appeared over EE's head. I tried turning off the game again. To my surprise, it worked this time. I sat on the couch speechless and breathed hard. For a moment before turning it back on, I clicked on Still Silver and once my DS on my DSi menu. After the title screen came up, I was immediately taken into an encounter. My trainer sprite was missing his eyes and an arm. I swallowed hard. This greatly disturbed me. Then the opposing Pokemon appeared. EE attacked. I noticed that EE had shiny Espeon ears, tails, and a jewel. Blood was dripping down from the ears, tails, and jewel. Its eyes were red and also had blood dripping from them. Its cry was a demonic version of Espeon's cry. The only option was ball. I clicked on it. Klaus used one Pokeball. EE goes into the ball. It shakes once, and then again, and then Eevee breaks out. Eevee doesn't want to go back. EE used Killed. Oh no, I said quietly to myself. There was a flash of crimson red before a text box came up. EE has killed Klaus. The screen went back into the overworld. My trainer sprite wasn't there. EE's sprite was now grinning wildly. He should have let me evolve. EE's voice echoed through the speakers of my DSi. The game turned itself off as EE finished talking. I was too terrified to turn it back on. I threw my DS at the wall, and surprisingly, only my Soul Silver game pops out of it. I pick up the game cartridge and throw it at the trash can in the corner of my room. I sat there on my couch, wondering what had just happened. I turned on the TV and the screen was black. I figured I had just left it on the channel I used to play on my Wii. I turned through the channels before leaving it on 29. The screen remained black. I sighed and reached to press the power button, but before I could, an eerie voice came through the speakers. Should have let me evolve. Alright, that was Prevention of Evolution.
Yeah, it was.
I'm mixed about this.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but not best.
Okay, I'm gonna start with, well, it was a pretty good idea. It was delivered pretty well, but it has quite a few cliches in this.
As in,
Like,
voices, blood,
Pokemon has died, Pokemon coming through the TV screen,
gore, blood,
power to the button not working.
demonic voices.
One really good thing about this, though, was it didn't use the same old idea of, found a random game cartridge in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
It was replay mode.
Yeah,
it was so much better because it actually makes sense.
Yeah, I haven't.
Because if you're like using a Game Shark, when you're using a code, the code sticks with it when it's in like a Game Shark or an Action Replay. If you take it out, the game plays out normal. So it makes no sense, and then it just makes it less believable. So Action Replay codes, like here, it works way better.
Yeah, with stuff like that, I'm sick of seeing like some old man gave to me yard sale.
Yeah. Some old man gave me a copy of Pokemon at Sears. He looked really weird, but I took it anyway. So I played the game and I died.
Whoa.
That's like your average creepypasta, but this had like a whole new layout. Like, it kind of just like left the character paranoia as into what had just happened. Yeah. And it's kind of a cliffhanger too. Like, will the EE haunt him? Will he just have peace now, or what? So overall, I think this was a pretty decent creepypasta. Could be better, could be worse. And yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.